Kathleen Collins, logo Maryland Sushi. This meeting is being recorded.
Being recorded.
Link account number. Can also watch this recording if it's stored in the cloud. Any participant granted permission can left parent one right parent record to their local device or left parent to record for them. These individuals can share these recordings with apps and others not by staying in this meeting. You consent to being recorded. Title is White Cane Safety Day Google Chrome. White Cane Safety Day confirmation message left parent EML right parent to move escape. Inbox outlook to move to an item. Can also watch the recording.
I'd like to welcome all of you to our White Cane.
Sorry, it's Kathy. I'm sorry, everybody. Brenda just started because he thought I lost my way. But thank you everybody for coming here today. I just had a problem with my unconnecting my mic. First of all, thank you everybody for coming here today. We're all happy that you
Somebody's jaws is like going on. They need to stop their jaw.
Yeah. Can someone? Can everybody please mute themselves except for me that's talking right now, if that's possible? Okay, thank you. We really appreciate that. So, hi everybody. Thank you for coming here today. We're so happy that you are coming to this program sponsored by the Accessibility Working Group and the Transportation Equity Working Group of Downstate New York, ADAPT, a non-hierarchical grassroots civil rights organization for and about, and anybody can join, people with disabilities. We are an organization that has no dues. We operate on a shoestring budget with donors who give us contributions, which we greatly appreciate. And if you'd like to become a member, you don't have to have a disability to be a member. You can be disabled or not disabled. And if you'd like to become a member, you can just go to dnyadapt.com and you can join there. If you have any problem, you can always email us at dnyadapt@gmail.com and we could help you. Or you could give us a call at our general telephone number, which is 917-590-2944. We will put all this information in the chat, and I know that someone, either Brandon or myself, will send this chat out to everybody later for you will have all this information in it. I'm going to hand over now to Chris, who's going to give you the lay of the land, and then we'll get right into our speakers. And just one last thing, just so for people to know, that I am a white woman with short brownish hair, thanks to a box of Claro. And I have brown eyes, and I'm wearing pink headphones, and I have right now a light purple lavender vest on with no sleeves. Okay, so go ahead, Chris.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of myself. As Kathy said, my name is Chris Murphy, and I am a half Native American male, and I'm currently sitting in my bedroom. I'd like to talk briefly before we get into the presentation about a couple of housekeeping items before I introduce the first speaker. Please make sure that you are muted the entire time until we do questions and answers at the end of the presentation. If you wish to ask a question during the presentation and you are a visual user, you may click on the mute or unmute button to do that. If you are a JAWS user, you can press Alt-A to mute or unmute yourself. If you wish to raise your hand to ask a question, you may press Alt-Y. If you're a visual user, you may click on the raise hand icon. If you're a phone user, you can press *6 to mute or unmute yourself. And if you are a Mac user and wish to unmute or unmute yourself, you can press Option Y or Option A, I'm sorry, and to raise and lower your hand, you can press Option Y to do that. If you're using a smartphone or a tablet, you can locate the mute buttons on the bottom of your screen. If you are using a smartphone or a tablet and you want to raise or lower your hand, There is a more button on the right-hand bottom of the screen. If you double tap that, if you're a voiceover user or a visual user, you can click the more button and there will be a raise or lower hand button there as well. So once again, please stay muted until we allow for questions and answers. This is being recorded, so please make sure that we keep everything muted until we do allow for questions. We will be doing that towards the end of the presentation. And it is now my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Rashida Bunting, who's going to talk about the history of the White Cane Day.
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry that my camera is off. I'm having quite a bit of tech trouble that I'm trying to fix right now. So I will be hooking up my other computer, hopefully soon. But I'm here to speak about the history of White Cane Day. Today is National White Cane Awareness Day, or Blindness Awareness Equality Day, which was adopted by Barack Obama in 2011. But before, the reason why this is so important, because I love history and I like to believe that, no pun intended, if we want to know where we're going, speaking of white cane and usage and travel, we have to know exactly where we came from. So the idea of blind people using mobility tools has been around for many, many, many centuries, even dating back to like ancient Greece, such as, Homer, who was a blind person, who wrote the Odyssey and the Iliad, and other I'm sorry guys, I'm having a rough day, other just ancient cultures. Now, so blind people have been fashioning canes for many, mobility devices, because there's a difference between the white cane and a mobility device. But they've been fashioning mobility devices for centuries. And they were usually fashioned after maybe like a tree trunk, a stick, a twig, a piece of reed, something like that. But in 1921, Robert C. Haven, who had in the 1920s, the automobile started getting way more and more popular, and more people started driving. So Robert C. Haven, he had a driving school for women, the first one in Minneapolis, and but he lived very close to the Minnesota Society for the Blind. And the director of the Minnesota Society for the Blind came to him and said, "Hey, Robert, like, since you're using this driving school and you're kind of as a pioneer for women driving, can you come up with a way that blind people can be safe in the streets?" So he had this whole campaign that if we paint the canes white, then the drivers will see the blind people. Now, there was a lot of opposition to this idea, because blind people at that time didn't want to be identified as blind people, even though they were using mobility devices. And because of the high level of crime, they didn't want to be looked at as target. And that's funny, because a lot of people nowadays still use the same philosophy, where I don't like using my cane because people are going to look at me as a target. So it's amazing how things never change in almost 80 years. So, 90 years. So they were saying that, wow, 100 years. So they were saying that it was met with a lot of opposition. So fast forward to who people call the father of the straight white cane, which is George A. Bonham. So who was in the Lions Club in Peoria, Illinois. So he's watching blind people use these mobility devices and canes as they cross the street, but they were black and just all different colors, because like I said, people were making canes out of anything, or mobility devices out of anything, just to travel. So one day he was on the street and he saw a blind man that had a black cane that he had made, and he was trying to cross the street, but cars weren't stopping. So George A. Bonham said, hey, how about we do this? How about we paint this cane white and put a red signal on it, like a red strip, so all drivers will know when you see this person with a white cane with a red strip, this is a blind person, and you, drivers will yield. Now, in Illinois, apparently they didn't have the same opposition as they did in Minnesota 13 years before, because this was in 1934. And it just took off from there, where people who were like blind people were using the white cane with the red strip. But at that time, the white cane with the red strip was used as a safety tool for blind people. And so the driver would, and this is the crazy part, because a lot of blind people were also using sighted guide with the white cane, or if they were traveling alone, the technique was not to use the cane as you're crossing the street, but to hold the cane upward, like upright, and then the drivers would stop, you cross the street, and then when you get to the other side, drivers would drive again. And this is solely for the blind person's safety. But the problem was the cane, the blind person who was using the cane couldn't figure out where to step back onto the curb, and they would, bump into cars and they would stumble like you would do if you're not using your cane. So they worked on the mobility, and Bonham worked on mobility techniques with blind people, and hence this whole, with a guy named Hoover, with the whole arcing technique that a lot of blind people use to this day. Now, since 1921 with Haven, blind advocates have been fighting for this legislation to change, where, okay, we're concerned about the safety of blind people and white cane usage. We have the canes white, but at the same time, we definitely need all drivers to stop. So from 1921 up until 1964, they've been fighting for legislation to pass that drivers must yield when the person is using the straight white cane with the red strip, or just a straight white cane. So along with advocacy groups, and I'm not going to get into the different types of blindness advocacy groups, and just people in the field of blindness, they petitioned and made a resolution that was passed by Lyndon B. Johnson in 1964 to adopt October 15th as White Cane Day. And this day was supposed to just honor the achievements of blind Americans and their independence, because as more and more people started using the straight white cane, it sparked off, and with Hoover, with his mobility techniques that he was devising for blind vets, it went from it kind of morphed from, okay, the white cane keeps people safe, which it does, and it's also identified for blindness, which it is, but it's also to be recognized as a tool of independence, which is how we as cane users look at it to this day, where, and this is what the White Cane Day, this is what October 15th in 1964, the passage of this White Cane Day was for, to celebrate our achievements and accomplishments as blind people, our equality and inclusion into the communities in which we're living in, because usage of this white cane gives us more independence, more mobility, and gives us the opportunity to be totally immersed and included into society, where before we needed assistance to get to and from places such as work and school and church and social events or shopping, or just basically activities of just living that people who are sighted can participate in. This gives us the opportunity to partake in those same activities on the same level as our sighted peers. And that's where the White Cane Day had come from. And that's pretty much it, guys. I just cut it down because I don't want to just get into more history. But I will say this much, that I did come across, which was quite interesting. Even though White Cane Day is celebrated internationally now, all over the world, And this is the universal symbol of a blind traveler, which is that white cane. Believe it or not, only 2% of blind people use a white cane, which shocked me. Even though it is a symbol of our inclusion and our independence, I came across this stat because I love the stats that only 2% of people use a white cane. More people rely mostly more on the service animal, the guide dog, and the sighted guide. And speaking about the legislation, in a lot of states now, but Florida in particular, they have a lot of laws protecting the white cane, blind people who are using the white cane. As a matter of fact, it's illegal in the state of Florida for a person to pose and use a white cane to, I guess, to get services or travel, whatever you would fake and say that you're blind about. If it's found out in the state of Florida by using a white cane when you're not, when you don't need it, it's a second-degree misdemeanor, which is punishable up to 60 days in jail, which I thought was quite interesting. And in the interest of time, that's all I'm going to say about white cane, unless we have any questions. Hello?
Any questions? Going once, going twice.
Well, I will give my physical description. I did forget that.
Okay.
I'm a dark complexion African American woman with my hair in dreadlocks, but it's in a bun, and I'm wearing a pink and black Wonder Woman hoodie because I am a Wonder Woman. I'm wearing a pink and black Wonder Woman hoodie and black jeans.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I like those colors. What do you call it? Okay, so should we move on to the next person, which I believe is Judy?
Judy's up next.
Give her a chance to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
We hear
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry. I think I was on mute. I think I was unmuted and then I muted myself and now I'm unmuted. So hi everybody. Happy White Cane Day. Happy White Cane Safety Awareness Day. And it is a happy day. I never thought of it before, but it's a nice thing to have something to be independent and safe with. White Cane Day is, as has already been said, that it's something that symbolizes the fact that a person with low vision or no vision is using a cane, and it symbolizes that we can't see. So that if we did need assistance, someone might approach and ask. And also it's something to be used as to show our independence and that we can take care of ourselves and go out into the community and either go shopping, go to work, go to church. I have been using a white cane for about 34 years, except there was a brief period of time where I did have a guide dog, well, about 11 years. So I'm a pretty good cane traveler. I do use it to go to work, like I said, go to the store, go to church. I also use sighted guide as a means of getting around if I'm in an unfamiliar area until I learn that area. With a white cane, as opposed to having a guide dog, a white cane puts you more in touch with your environment. It's an extension of your finger to the ground, so you can explore what's around you. Where a guide dog may go around an obstacle, your cane will hit the obstacle, which is let you know that there's something there, but it may also let you know what, it might be a landmark that you might use, which can help with navigating. So there are some differences in using a white cane as opposed to a guide dog. And I think I would, I don't know, if asked if I prefer a guide dog or a cane or sighted guide, a sighted guide isn't as practical, though it is very informative, because if it's done correctly, you can move rather quickly, and you can find out about your environment by the person who is seeing, and they can tell you what's around you. With the cane, you can go quickly if you know the area, and then too, it lets you know more about your environment. And with a guide dog, again, you have the safety of the dog crossing in front of you if there's something like a car, if you're crossing a street, or it will go around an obstacle, which will, make you go a lot quicker. But there are drawbacks to each. Like I said, with sighted guide, it's not as practical because you have to wait for somebody or find somebody that can assist. And then too, you hope the person that's assisting is a good person, a good character. Then with the guide dog, of course, the dog requires a lot of attention, care.
Robin Cassidy joined the meeting.
And with the white cane, as was mentioned with the Hoover method, going back and forth, if you're kind of sloppy with your technique, you can not always be covered, and you can run into things. A lot of good things about all three ways of travel. Any questions anybody might have?
I have a question.
Okay.
And that is, I know that both you and Rashida mentioned this thing called sighted guide. Do you mean like when a person that has eyesight directs you? Is that what sighted guide is, or is it something else?
Yes, a person with vision would offer an elbow to a person with low vision or no vision. And then the person, who's visually impaired would hold on to the elbow of the person in the lead with the person who has sight. And then you would just walk a foot or about a foot behind so that the person in the lead could guide you along your way.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't sure if it was a new app or something.
Well, there are a lot of apps out there. And I think too that, as was mentioned, the white cane has been around a long time. And to me, we have so much technology that I think that we could be doing a little bit better with safety. And if, I know that Ekaterina is going to talk about the new smart cane that's out, which is used with an iPhone apps. So, which sounds interesting to me. But I think we could do better. I'd like to see, something, they can navigate, the Navy and the Army, the armed services, they can navigate at night, using sonar and things like that. And we can find, fishermen go out on boats and they can find where the fish is by using sonar. I mean, we should be able to navigate more safely using that type of technology, I think.
That sounds like a great idea. Yeah. Hopefully somebody can hear this and work with us getting that done. That'd be wonderful.
Creating something new.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
So, any other questions? Chris, did you want to say something?
I was going to say that our next speaker must apparently be having technical difficulties. It's supposed to be Ekaterina. So I think what we'll do, just to change things just slightly, is we'll go to Marilyn for right now, and then when she comes back, we will go back to Ekaterina because she's not in here right now.
Oh, okay.
Great, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I've been a cane user most of my life, and I am a senior citizen. So I will say my age. I am 71 years old. So I didn't use a cane when I was 2, 3, 4, and 5. My parents used to take my hand. But I remember as far back as like in the 60s, getting my first cane. I don't remember anything in the 50s, just the 60s. So I got my first white cane, which did not fold, and it was heavy and it was white, and I didn't like it. And I had somebody try to show me how to use it, but I didn't want no part of the cane. As a child, I'd rather take my parents' hand or a sibling's hand or a friend's hand and walk around. I never liked the cane, never. From a child into my senior years, I still don't like the cane. But I will say this, I am a very good cane user, and I am a very good guide dog user. My preference is a guide dog over a cane. I have found using a guide dog, it enhances my mobility. And I'm going to use the word, I can blow people away with the dog, because you can't walk as fast as me with the cane. You don't have the confidence with the cane like you do a dog. I can tell a dog, find the door inside, find the door out, find the steps, find the bus. You can't tell that to your cane. So I prefer having a living creature that I could give commands to, and that keeps me safe. You know, using the cane years ago, one time I was hit by a car. I've been using guide dogs for 34 years. I've come close to getting hit, but my dog always pulls me out of the way. Your cane can't pull you out of the way when you're in a street or if there's a car coming. The dog is very alert to your surroundings, always pays attention to where you're going. And the dog wears a harness and you hold the leash, and that's what helps guide you. You give the dog commands. You tell it left, right. You know, I could tell that dog, find the sidewalk. You can't tell your cane, find the sidewalk. Find the curb. You can't tell your cane that. You know, I found the cane slows me up, even though I'm a good cane user. But I prefer the dog because, as I said, I feel that it enhances my mobility. I walk a lot faster. I'm more secure with the dog, and I trust the dog. And it's all about trust. You know, using dogs, I'm on my 5th dog now, and I hope before I get too old to get at least one more dog. And I hope I never really have to go back to the cane, but I might someday. But even though you have a guide dog, you still must keep up your cane skills. So once a month, I do use my cane, and I keep up my cane skills. It's very important. And even though you go to a guide dog school, you know, they tell you, keep up your cane skills. And sometimes they say, carry a cane. I have a cane at work and I have 2 canes at home. God forbid my dog gets sick, I could still get around. I have canes. You know, Judy was talking about obstacles, like the cane tells you. Well, the dog will also tell you what the obstacle is. If the dog is not sure, say there's a garbage can in the middle of a road or in the middle of a sidewalk, the dog is not sure. Guide dogs always walk on the left side. They protect the right side of the blind person. Some of them will guide you around certain obstacles, so you don't have to worry. Some of them will stop if they're not sure, because maybe it's more to the left and they want to guide you to the right, or vice versa. Depends what it is. But we are taught to do the same thing with a cane. Put out your opposite hand and feel what the obstruction is. Many, many times I have felt, oh, somebody's garbage can, the wind blew it. So the dog stopped if it was, you know, turned over, because she didn't know, should I go to the right or should I go to the left? You know, because there could be another obstacle. They will make sure you don't fall off a curb. That's number one. So you are taught to feel with your feet. Your feet have a lot to do with everything. And also your hands. Just like using a cane, they tell you, if you don't know what the obstacles, feel it. Feel for what it is. You know, last Thursday at work, Ekaterina, Judy, and myself, we did white cane with some of our coworkers. And what I explained to them using the cane was, and it's so different than a dog, but the dog is the same purpose, because if I have to turn in a building and I show them, like, here's the cane, they're using the cane, and all of a sudden the wall ends. I said, do you hear the difference? You're tapping it. When I know the wall is going to end, I tell the dog, find the way. My dog will zip me around that wall. going through a door. If the door is closed, my dog will stop. Now, sometimes I don't pay attention. And a few times I've walked into closed doors. I'm like, but the dog did its job. I didn't pay attention. It's the same thing with traffic. I've crossed I've crossed parkways already with my dog. But as I'm getting older, I'm slowing up. I can't run across the street anymore like I used to. So the dog, if I give the dog the command to go forward, if she doesn't feel it's safe, she will not go. You don't command your cane to go forward. You have to sit there and listen for traffic, or many cane users are afraid to cross the streets because they're not sure of themselves, and I agree with them because there is so much traffic out here on the island where we live that it's a hazard now. Even if you see the white cane, people don't pay attention. They go through stop signs, they go through red lights, but the dog, if it doesn't feel it's safe, will refuse to go forward. When you give the dog the command, when it feels it's safe, it will take you across the street. And just, I think it was back in August, my dog saved my life. And I walk the dog early in the morning because I don't like to be around a lot of the traffic, a lot of people, and a lot of loose dogs, barking dogs. So I like to have a nice quiet walk early in the morning while everybody's sleeping. And this one morning, it was a Sunday. I think it was a Sunday or a Saturday. I forget which day. I'm walking on the street. I'm a couple of blocks from my home, and I wasn't crossing the street. We were going to make a left. And I tell the dog, over left. So the dog knows we're not crossing. We're making a left turn, and we're still on the street, but we're going on a different street now. Well, this car was coming down and he was speeding, and I didn't realize it. And I also wear a hearing aid in one ear because I don't hear well. My other ear is okay. And my dog reacted so quickly that I almost felt this car. That's how close we were. I practically could have touched it. If I was with a cane, I wouldn't be here now talking to you. But the dog pulled me. She saw what was happening, pulled me, and I almost fell into bushes. That car actually, because they were speeding, they never even stopped to slow down to see if I was okay. And that's what really upset me was I didn't expect that early in the morning. And I didn't expect somebody to go through the stop sign while I'm turning the corner and just keep going without stopping because the person went through the stop sign. I guess maybe the person thought, oh, there's nobody on the roads this morning. It's nice and early, but you never know who you're going to come across. Somebody like me walking their guide dog early. So had the dog not pulled me, I would have definitely been hit by that car. And I praise the dog, every day because I say I am so grateful and so blessed that I can use a guide dog. And it enables me to go places on my own. I ask very little of sighted help. I will ask when I need sighted help, but because I have the dog, I can tell the dog, find the door, find the steps, find the elevator, and these dogs will do it. If I go to a new building, what I do is I call up wherever I'm going and I'll ask them questions about the building. Are there steps? Are there automatic doors? When I get in the building, is there a desk that I go up to? Is it to the right or the left, or is it straight? Where is the elevator in the lobby? Where is this? Where is that? And all I do is tell the dog, find the elevator, find the steps, find the desk. You pat something and you tell the dog what it is. So my mobility is my dog, but like I said, I have good cane skills. Anybody have any questions?
Rashida's hand is raised.
Yes, Rashida.
It's not a question. And actually, if Katarina is not back, I do want to say something that I kind of left out about canes if we have time. But
take your time because she's having trouble. Her computer restarted on her for an
I'll
update.
respond to what Marilyn said, and then I'll get into what I wanted to talk about that I left off. Now, it's not to me, Marilyn. I'm gonna disagree with you that a person that has a guide dog is more confident than a cane user. I think that's a personal choice. And I think too often in the blind community, it comes down to dog versus cane. I'm a very confident cane user. If you are comfortable and your caning techniques and you had adequate training with your cane, you will be a very confident cane user. I take my cane on the subways. I take my cane on the buses and the planes. I've traveled all over from different states with my cane and I come back in one piece. And the difference between a dog and a cane is you don't have to do much. Like it's not a lot of responsibility connected to a cane. And for myself, who has a dog in my house, not a guide dog, based on what I've seen dogs do, even guide dogs, my trust level is not with the guide dog. There are times when they will do stuff when they're not supposed to, when they're even working. So I don't want to say take offense that people who use cane are not confident. I just think that it's personal. And I don't know, who did your mobility where if you're using a cane, you go around and touch things. The purpose of a cane is an extension of your arm, so you don't have to touch things. Somebody that who uses a guide dog told me when I forgot what she called it, where she let you walk with her, let a person walk with their guide dog so you can kind of see how it feels. So she let me walk with her guide dog, and I said, "Oh no, no, no!" But at the same time, she explained that a guide dog is trained to go around obstacles, and a cane is designed to hit obstacles. So if you're walking and you're using your cane the right way, your cane will let you know when you're at a steps because it'll drop off. Or if you're at a garbage can, you'll hear it because your cane will tap it. Anyone who uses a cane, especially now, doesn't go around and just touch objects in the street because that's like gross. But I think, I was kind of offended, Marilyn. Like, we're not fighting, but we're definitely disagreeing because I am part of the 2% cane users that persons who use canes are not confident. Like, I just don't think that was the right thing to say.
What I said is I am confident, more confident with the dog. Okay, I am around cane users too. And like I said, you saw me yesterday work my dog in that big room. There was maybe 100 people in there.
But you saw me work my cane in that big room.
I didn't see you. But Rashida, it's not cane versus dog. It used to be. And I know that with the NFB when I was involved. It was always the cane versus the dog. It shouldn't be that way. Everybody's has a choice. My mobility tool is a dog. I prefer the dog. I am a good cane user. And people that work with me have seen me use the cane when I had to. In fact, at our ADA, my boss was like, he said, "Marilyn, you never cease to amaze me." I was guiding other blind people with the cane to bring them in the back where our ADA celebration was. And I let somebody, namely Brandon, hold my dog because I didn't want to work her. It was too hot.
Yeah, so and you know what? That cane, you can work it all day.
Offense to anybody. It's an individual thing. And it's not cane versus guide dog.
No, it shouldn't be. And those canes are always reliable. Hot, rain, sleet, well, I ain't gonna say snow.
As I said, it enhances my mobility to use the dog. I am more confident. I walk faster. And I don't feel that I have to ask as many people. And I do ask for help when I need it, as I said. But, everybody is different. No offense was meant, to you or to anybody. I'm telling you what I feel, what I enjoy as mobility tool.
Okay. Because, I mean, we're not fighting, Marilyn, especially not in an open forum. But I just, I was going to call you afterwards, but I just couldn't just let this sit on my spirit. When I heard you, and you did say it made you more confident, but you initially said that people who use dogs are more confident. You did say that initially.
Most of them are. My friends that have guide dogs are more confident with the dog than with the cane.
That's
I can
their
experience. Speak with people I know, nobody else.
Okay, ladies. I think you both have good points, and I like both. I think both they're good, and everything has a pro and a con in life. So I appreciate you both, and I appreciate both your thoughts. And this was a great discussion.
I have one raised hand, Robin.
Yeah. We want to do Robin, and then we have Katrina.
Oh, so she came back. Okay,
then. Is on. Yes.
Okay, then I'll say what I need to say afterwards because it does tie into what she said.
No, go ahead. Say what you want to say after Robin, and then we'll go to her.
Okay, that's fine.
Guys, this is Chief. A cane is great when you're on the floor, but if you have a canopy above you or you have low-hanging branches or a clothesline, the dog could warn you over that. What do you do with the cane with low-hanging branches or a clothesline to keep yourself from getting hurt? The dog will warn you about that. I know that with guide dogs. But what do cane users do? And how do you keep yourself from getting hurt? I mean, everybody can have an animal lover, but because I think the dog can get you around, but in places where people are allergic or whatever, or if your dog is sick, you have to use a cane. What about places where you have to practically duck down, or where there's be like a clothesline? I know you don't have many in the city, but there are times where something is low hanging, so you can.
You're speaking to me, Robin? This question was directed to me, or me?
I guess it's directed towards any of the speakers who use canes.
Who are cane users?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can answer, Rashida.
Oh, I can.
Sure.
So I'm not the tallest woman, Robin. You saw that yesterday. So I don't get wrapped up in many clotheslines, but my boyfriend is 6'2" and he is a cane user. And that does happen, but I don't think that that's the norm where you get where you get kind of wrapped up in low hanging things. And a lot of people who are blind, they also, and I also use it myself. I didn't know what it was. They do use echolocation. I didn't know what it was called, but you could kind of, I can't really explain it. It's kind of like spatial reasoning. So you can tell when you're, standing under something low hanging, or or you're surrounded by objects even though you don't see it. So there are a lot of tools that does help blind people, whether they're dog users or cane users, where we don't get as tangled up in what you're talking about. That's just the quickest answer.
Okay, good, because I know dogs will get you anywhere. Like Marilyn said, they could save your life. With a cane, it's like echoes of the terrain, or feeling a solid object. But the dog sees 360 around you. So if there's a speeding car coming or something's falling down, or there's a branch hanging there. And that's why I asked how you dealt with it. Thank you for your answer.
No, that's okay. But I do have a question, and it's not like to disrespect anybody. At the end of the day, I there's a big debate whether a dog is a mobility device or is not a mobility device. I don't have a guide dog, so when people bring this up to me, I don't have no pun intended, a dog in this fight. Like, I don't get into that.
That's pretty
but
good.
I would like to know, in all due respect, since this is White Cane Day, and if somebody educate me, why are we talking about guide dogs on White Cane Celebration Day? And then, are they part of the White Cane experience?
Because we still use the cane, even though we have the dog, and it's a transition, so I was asked to bring it up, the transition between a cane going into using a guide dog. That's all it is.
Right.
I still use a cane.
No, I thought I had missed something in the research. That's why I asked, like.
No, I was asked to talk about the guide dog and the use of a cane.
There's a method to our madness, Rashida.
There is a method to the madness.
I have several participants have their hands up. I have, we'll go with Yasmin, Mary,
Judy,
and then Judy.
Hi, guys. To answer Robin's question, because I actually have like a situation like that in my neighborhood where alongside my building, they have some trees that do hang low. So you do kind of have to like duck out of the way. And I'm one of those who I use the sighted guide technique until I get away from my neighborhood pretty much. And then I'll use my cane. But for those kind of things, when I did my mobility training, the trainer did tell me like what's around that I would need to kind of look out for, or just know that, this tree, it's always low lying. so you may just have to like walk closer to the, to the side of, more to the left side when you're passing like through this area. So usually, when I'm walking with my son, he swears that he can't see either. And, there's a couple of times where I have like hit the branch. My head has hit the branch. And then I'm just like, oh my God, like, that was there kind of thing. But, usually when you get mobility training, they will kind of tell you what's in your neighborhood. It's depending on where you do the training. But as a new, I'm still pretty new, with it. I've had at least maybe 2 or 3 years of training with the cane, but I always do it like every, year or so. I may feel that the skills are changing, where I need to practice more. And, especially if I'm going to a place, a different kind of place all the time. Like the last time I did training, we did it at the mall. So like learning how to go up the escalator and things like that. But for the most part, you just gotta, I guess if you are blind, totally blind, and you can't see anything, and unfortunately there may just be times where you will actually hit them branches. But for the most part, if you are doing the training, like I said, then they will describe what's in your area, and that way you will know, like next time, as I get closer to this area, then I need to move over, and then, just to avoid the obstacles.
I know we have a few hands raised, but I just want to make a note that we do have one final speaker that we still need to get to. So, Ekaterina, I think due to the interest of time, we'll go to you, and then if anybody has any questions after she's done, we can definitely do that at the end. So, Ekaterina, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So I heard everybody talking briefly because I missed so much of the speakers. The first speaker I heard, Judy, I totally missed, and Madeline, I got just the very end. But I followed after that the speech between guide dog and the cane. I guess the biggest difference between the cane and guide dog is that with the guide dog, you can avoid obstacles, and with the cane, you can be, how you call it, notified that there is an obstacle. So you cannot go around that, or you know what to do, or you can find a landmark. That's the difference. With the guide dog, you totally avoid, so you don't know why you went to the right or to the left because the dog took you that way, but you don't know what you passed. And with the cane, you might find out by touching and finding out what it is. So that's I guess the biggest difference in short. So now I guess you guys want me to talk about the one of the newest devices that came, that changed the cane, the white cane. Before I get into that, I wanted to briefly mention that before this, that they started to put an ultrasonic device into a cane, they also tried to play with other devices, such as, I don't remember the name, and I don't know if the name is on it, if I'm showing it to you for those who are sighted. But this is a device, and please let me know, because I moved the computer after we tried the testing. If you can see it, I'm gonna put this around my neck. And this is a device that I put this around my waist, the band. And now when it's hanging around my neck, this device is in the front. Can you all see it?
Yes, we can see it. Would you like us to describe it?
So this is a device that unfortunately I don't have the charger. I could not charge it, but this was, I believe I tried this in the mid-1990s. And this device would notify me, would make a beep sound as I was getting close to an obstacle. And the closer I was getting to the obstacle, the beep sound started to get faster and faster and faster. So I knew when to, pass the obstacle, go left or right, whichever. So that was, I guess, one of the starting devices that they try to play with the ultrasonic way of doing it, recognizing obstacles. Now, the cane that I guess I'm lucky to be able to try this device. And I started about, I would say, probably a year ago, if not probably even more. And at the beginning, it was pretty simple considering it wasn't working as I was hoping it would. After I updated it, it got a little better, and they always update this, and hopefully it will get even better. And I'm optimistic about it, that they made a lot of changes since I started using it. And I'm optimistic. The only issue with this, the only con is that it's very expensive. And those of us who would like to purchase it, it's like, I believe $599. So I want to let everybody know it's available, people can buy it, but that's the problem about that. So if we can advocate to have the Commission for the Blind purchase it at least one time, then that would be awesome. Because those of us who want to try it, who want to use it, that would be great. And yes, it helps a lot. Now, this cane works without an iPhone or an Android device, or with an iPhone and Android device where you would download their WeWalk app and use it together with the WeWalk app. The difference between the two is that if you use without the app, you can use it only using the obstacle detection on the cane. So in other words, when you get closer to a low-hanging branch or a sign, it will alert you that you're getting closer to something and the cane starts vibrating. So that's how you know. Now, if you pair it together with the iPhone or an Android device, downloading the app and using the WeWalk app with it, then it can do a lot more, and I will get into that a little bit later. So the cane that I started to use, it wasn't purchased specifically for me, and the length is very long, too high to my height. But I was using it. It makes it harder to use it because now the obstacle detection actually looks towards the sky instead of towards what's in front of me. So I had to kind of adjust myself how I'm using it. And I hope that I can get a shorter cane so it would be more accurate what I'm getting from the cane. And the cane, it comes up to my mouth approximately, and it should be lower. Now, the obstacle detection can detect everything kind of like above your waist. So they don't advise using only the handle part, which has the device in it. They say that you still have to use the white cane, the full white cane, as you learn how to use it, because everything below the waist, you have to check, you have to detect with the cane. And I'm gonna start, I guess, now with the cane. I'm gonna kind of describe it. So can everybody see it? Those of you who can see, can you see the cane?
Yes, you can see the top part.
Okay.
To where your hands
and
are, yeah.
Then it's a regular white cane with the same mushroom tip that the cane has.
Yeah, we just saw the mushroom tip a second ago.
Most of our cane has. And why I think this was a good invention is that you can take the handle part away from the cane part, the white cane section. It's a folding cane, it's a foldable cane. You have to know how to fold it, because if you're folding it towards where the obstacle detection part is, then you just can't close it. It goes only until this far. Can you see it? Now, if I turn it towards the back, then it can touch the cane, and then you fold it just like a regular cane.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we see
then
that.
You have the elastic to close it so it wouldn't open. So then you have a smaller cane.
Right,
now,
you could put that like in your bag, is that correct?
Yes, it's pretty small actually, considering how long this cane is. It comes up, it's pretty small close. And now I'm opening it, and the way you can take it apart is, and I'm gonna try to show it. I'm just gonna take the handle off of the cane.
So you're unscrewing it.
See. So yeah, yes, I am unscrewing it. I just was charging it. And if I'm talking about the charging, yes, you have to charge the cane. And what's good about it, you can charge it within 2 hours. You get a full charge. Wow. So it's pretty good. And I used it the other day. It went down only to 75%. And I used it, I would say, maybe 45 minutes. So you can get a pretty good usage out of it. So now I'm unscrewing the handle. You have to turn it quite a bit. Okay, now this is how it looks. I have the handle in my right hand away from the cane. And this is the adapter, if you can see that. And this is the rubber band on the top.
Can you bring it up a little higher? Now we can see it.
Can you see this is the adapter on the end of the cane, and then the rubber band, the elastic inside that I tied so it wouldn't come out. And then the elastic wouldn't go into the cane. Now I'm gonna screw it again, screw it in a clock. Okay, I'm trying to do it as fast as I can. Okay.
Take your time.
So it's back to the cane. Now they suggest not to use the elastic and hold it with the elastic, because if anything happens, then you don't want marks on your wrist because of the elastic. So I'm going to turn it on. It makes that sound alerting you that it's turned on, and you can probably hear the buzzing, can you?
We can see a little button, a little thing bleep, like bleeping right below the button that you just turned on. It's like a little light that keeps going on and off.
Yes, so it has the light that's alerting people. If you are walking in the dark, it's alerting people that you are coming. That's good for that, and that also those who can see that the cane is on. But if you're pointing it towards an object, it's vibrating. I'm going to try to put this closer to the computer. Hopefully you can hear it. Can you hear the buzzing?
I heard something a couple of minutes ago when you first brought it close, but then it stopped.
Probably you heard it now. So it's buzzing right now because I'm pointing it towards the computer, so it's picking up that I'm pretty close. And I would say it's like a meter away, like 3 feet away from the object. It's gonna, once you get closer, it's gonna start to vibrate. Now the vibrating part, I'm just gonna close it because it's like a constant buzzing. Okay, so I swipe down my finger on the screen. It's not a screen. It's actually just like an area, a square area where you tap, and you tell the cane to stop. So I swipe down with 2 fingers. Now, before I will go into anything else, I want to describe it again for those who cannot see it. The handle, it's very similar to a regular one. The only difference is that only where you're actually holding it, it's rubber. The rest of them is plastic, and I think it's black. And then on the back part of the handle, there is the turn on button and the speaker and the microphone. And the turn on button, you have to press it, hold it a few seconds, and then it will turn on and you will hear that sound. And then same to turn it off. If I turn it towards the front, which has to kind of be away from you, facing the direction that you're going towards. And on the very top, there are 2 buttons, and that's where you would need to put your finger when you're holding the cane. And so I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. I'm gonna try to show it. I'm holding it like this. So my finger is on the 2 dots, and my the left part and the right part of my thumb will feel that vibration. Otherwise, you can feel the vibration actually in the whole cane and the whole handle. But if you have your fingers on those 2 dots, you can feel it a lot better. And below that is the touch screen that I just touched, and it made that sound. So now you use the hand gestures pretty much like you're using on an iPhone. It's a little more limited, of course, because it's a smaller screen. So you can, it's, I would say, like only like 2 fingers with the width about. So, okay, I turned it on again, the vibration. I had to turn the vibration off and now it doesn't want to work. Of course, when you want to show it. So below that, there is a circular area, which is the obstacle detection. And this is works with ultrasound. So whatever it picks up, it will alert you. And now if we're gonna pair this with the iPhone, which I have, and I downloaded the app for it, once I turn it on, this will detect, the iPhone will detect the cane. If I don't know where the cane is, I can tap on the iPhone. There is a button where you can tap, so it would alert you where the cane is, and the cane gonna make a funny sound. And then you can also try to do that from the cane if you can't find the phone. The phone will start ringing if I tap on the cane. Now, with this, once I turn it on, which is on right now, I'm gonna try to pair it with the phone.
6:02 p.m.
Turn on the iPhone.
04 values entered. Secure. Explore button.
Okay, the WeWalk is on. The app.
Save location button. Home heading.
Can you still see me, or did I lose the connection?
No, we can still see you. And we can
Okay,
see you.
okay.
You're holding the phone. And you have the.
Because my internet connection is not the best.
No,
So
no,
I'm on the home screen on the phone.
Screen curtain off.
And
what phone? 100% battery power. Not charging.
Here
item.
I can
Connect
turn it on. Connect smart cane. I'm gonna double tap.
Searching for WeWalks around you. This may take a few seconds. Ellipsis. Alert.
So this
Couldn't find any WeWalk.
We don't find any WeWalk. Did I turn it off? Maybe I turned it off.
Okay. Button.
Let's try it again.
Exploration repeat interval. 1. Exploration mode. Connect smart cane. Button. Searching for WeWalks around you. This may take a few seconds. Ellipsis. Alert. Couldn't find any WeWalk.
That's interesting.
Okay. Button.
Now it's on.
Heading. My current location. Explore. Button. Navigate. AIM mobility. Transport. Explore. Connect smart cane. Button. Searching for WeWalks around you. This may take a few seconds.
Okay.
Ellipsis.
Now you heard that shh. And that means that it found the walk, the WeWalk. It's saying WeWalk instead of WeWalk. So now on the screen, what I have on the iPhone screen is the same what I can also do with the cane. So in case if I don't want to carry the cane in my hand, I want to put it in my pocket, I can still use the cane using the microphone or tapping it. And so that's a little bit of learning curve to use it. It makes, for anything you do, it makes a certain sound, so you will know what you're doing with it. Now I'm gonna put down the iPhone and I'm gonna try to use only the cane, just so quickly I can show you. It's still buzzing. So I'm gonna double tap on it. Now it says my places. So when it says my places, under my places, I can save certain locations that I want to go to. And if I swipe to the right, it says explore. So what that can do, it can recognize all the restaurants, shops, everything around you. So I got to open it.
All.
Now it says all, so I'm gonna swipe to the right.
Arts and entertainment.
Arts and entertainment.
Food and cafes.
Food and cafes.
Professional and others.
Shops and services. Colleges and universities. Fitness and wellness. Hubs and clubs, and this is the last.
All.
Then we're gonna go back to all. So now if I'm gonna, let's say, go to
Arts and entertainment. Food and cafes.
Okay.
Professional and others. Shops and services.
Okay, I'm gonna double tap on that. Do you recognize it?
Stop and shop 1,290 feet.
It says stop and shop 1,290 feet. So it tells me where it is, how far it is. And now I'm gonna double tap on it.
Go there.
It says go there. What if I swipe to the left?
Go there. Go there. Go there.
Tap.
Close button.
And then
Walking 6 minutes.
it tells me walking 6 minutes. So if I would,
Walking 6 minutes.
if I would start
Walking 6
walking
minutes.
from here, it's gonna give me actually feet by feet direction on how to go. So it's gonna tell me to walk on Moffett Boulevard, I don't know how many hundreds of feet, and then turn left on rightish lane. And then as I'm walking, it's gonna tell me the feet, how far I am from the Stop and Shop, and it will give me like a clock direction, like it's in the 11 o'clock direction or whatever. So that's what it can tell me. I'm gonna try to.
My places.
Okay,
Close
I'm
button.
back to my places. If I swipe more to the left,
Explore.
I guess I
My places.
touched it too many
Find my
times.
phone.
Okay, this is the area. If I would press double tap on find my phone, it's gonna make my phone ring, so I could find it.
Device preferences.
Device preferences, that's if I open that one, double tap on that and swipe to the left and right, I can change the volume, I can change the obstacle detection, how soon I want the obstacle detection to notice the obstacles in front of me. So those preferences, and also you can change the colors on your phone if you can see a little bit, and you can see the map, because the map gonna come up once you start navigating with it. Transport, that's an interesting one, and I noticed there is a little bit of difficulty with that, because it says in the tutorial that it should give you the schedule of the bus schedule, and I never was able to get that. But what it does, it gives me, if I double tap on it, it's gonna give me all the bus stops in the area. It's gonna start with the one which is closer, and it's gonna go further and further. And the good thing about this is that once I tap on it, once I find the bus stop that I want to go to, I double tap on it. Again, it's gonna give me feet by feet direction, how to get there. It's gonna tell me the direction, the clock way of like which, if it's 3 o'clock position or 5 o'clock position, and it tell me how many minutes I need to get there. And I did not try this with a bus because I just updated it not long time ago. But I'm curious how that's gonna work. With the bus, it should alert you when your stop is getting close so you can get off, and then it will continue directing you to your destination. And yeah, that's with the transportation. I don't know if you wanna hear it, I'm gonna try to double tap.
Carlton Avenue, Moffett Boulevard, Suffolk County Transit.
It says Carlton Avenue, Moffett Boulevard, Suffolk County Transit. And this usually also gives, if it's the S40 or the 3C, which bus is, so you would know which bus you're taking.
Carlton Avenue, Adams Street W, Suffolk County Transit.
So
Islip Avenue.
I'm just looking for an area which is giving me more.
Islip Avenue, West Spruce Street, Suffolk County Transit.
If I go towards the main street.
Islip Lear, Suffolk County Transit.
That's as I sleep Lear, that's the Long Island
Carlton Avenue, Union Boulevard, Suffolk County Transit. Islip Lear, Suffolk County Transit. Islip Avenue, Oak Street, Suffolk County Transit.
Okay, we're getting close to.
Montauk Highway, Suffolk Lane, Suffolk County Transit.
So now if I'm gonna double tap on this.
Transport lines.
It says transport lines. Now, if I double tap on that, it should tell me that what buses.
South Shore Mall 3C, 206 minutes.
Now, with the 206 minutes, I could never figure out what they mean by the 206 minutes. If I walk there, or that's kind of strange to me. So I could never figure. I guess it's gonna check by like walking distance or something, I don't know. So, and if I swipe again, then it's gonna say go, and then I can start my navigation. So I'm gonna exit out of it. And I think actually it's gonna go there, but I don't want to go right now. So I'm gonna swipe down to close it.
Transport. Swipe to exit.
Okay, swipe to exit, and I'm gonna double tap, and it's exiting out. So it's back to my places. So these are the things that it can do. I tried it. It should notice if you're going in a different direction, you don't follow the actual direction that it's giving you, and you walk off, it will alert you. But I tried the other day, and I walked quite a few feet until it actually recognized that I'm off my direction that it gave me. And then it relocated me, and then it started to give me the directions from the point where I was at. So it will do it, but it took me by surprise when it, when it didn't do that right away as soon as I turned that corner. Otherwise, the other day also I tried to go to Stop and Shop, and it directed me to go towards the back of the Stop and Shop. So if I wouldn't know that that's the back, then I probably would have turned there. But I did not. So when I got close to where I needed to turn, then he picked it up, and then he told me, gave me the right direction, like how many feet away I am from and how to turn and all that. So there are some glitches like this, and I'm hoping that will be fixed. I will contact them. I'm planning to contact them and tell them my experience, what I'm noticing. So hopefully they can, check their map, what they have, and fix it. And I'm going to mention about this bus schedule, if I could get the schedule on it. So this is basically what it is. Anybody has any questions? I don't know if I'm missing anything. I'm sure I will remember something once I finish. So I'm gonna turn this off.
And I think we do have a couple of questions.
Anybody have questions? I do see we have.
Yeah.
I see Mary, Rashida, and Judy.
You want to call on somebody?
Mary,
go in that order. Mary, go ahead first.
Hello, Mary. Is the computer okay?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. The trouble with using GPS on any device is they don't make them for walking. They've never redesigned a GPS for walking. It's still a car. They're just using the street. It's not designed, like somebody said, if they can make a GPS where I have the ability to cross, it tells me that this thing is on the other side of the street and how to cross the street, but they don't. Those GPSs are for cars.
There is a GPS, and actually I read that somewhere. I think it's even in the manual. I know I read that somewhere, the type of GPS they're using for this. Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Like that order, I have an order delivered.
Brian, can you just mute yourself? Because we can hear you.
We didn't mean to leave.
I know, he left.
He
I was gonna ask him to leave. Oh, and by the way, because I had left it on from the discussion between Marilyn and Rashida, anything you guys are explaining today really isn't just a blind issue. People have trouble with mobility in cars. Sighted people have trouble with getting around. This isn't just necessarily, nothing is perfect, as we, as demonstration just shows.
Yes, they can try to, work on it.
The canes have their issues. The dogs have their issues. Cars have their issues.
That's true.
GPSs have their issues. This isn't necessarily a blind issue. What this, as I think Marilyn said it and Rashida said it, it's what you personally want to do. That's all it boils down to, is what do you want to have?
You're
Very
right.
true.
Yep, you're right.
Rashida, your hand is raised too.
Yes, thank you, Mary. I think that's what I heard. That's a great point. Yeah, so maybe I missed it because I'm like the ultimate multitasker. Sometimes I don't do it well. Can you describe this cane, and do you know how heavy this cane is?
In the manual, there is that information, if I would look it up, but I don't remember. I know I read that, but I don't remember. The cane, the bottom part of the cane is the same exact cane that we use. I think it's a graphite cane, actually, this one, because you know that there are aluminum canes, graphite canes, and fiberglass canes. This is a graphite cane. And actually, which I did not mention, when I took that apart with the handle from the cane, you can actually use any other cane which is the same size with this one, and you can purchase an adapter and just take the elastic out from the other cane, take the handle off, take that, make sure that you don't lose the elastic, doesn't go inside, and then pull that through the adapter, tie a knot, and just put on the handle. And so you can actually put it on any cane. If anything happens to the bottom of the cane, you can just switch it.
Okay, that's what I was confused about.
Yes, and you can also buy a cane together with the adapter, so you don't have to play with it. I don't know how much is separately, but you can also purchase it from them together with the adapter. So you just get the cane from them, put the handle on the top, and you are ready to go.
So this is something that's attached to the cane. It's not really built into the cane, because I'm a blind person. I'm not looking at the Zoom
attached, yes. The plastic handle, which part of plastic, part of rubber, depending on when you're holding it, that's where it's rubberish. And the rest of them, it's plastic. And you have to screw it onto the top of the cane, which on the top of the cane, you have the adapter that you put on and the elastic that you tied a knot on the top so it wouldn't go inside. And then on that top, that part, the adapter has those ridges there on the outside part, and then on the inside part of the handle you have those ridges so you can screw it in.
Is this a folding cane or a straight white?
It's a folding cane, yes.
Oh.
Yes.
With the red tip on the bottom, or is it just all the way white?
I believe it has the red tip. Does it have it? I don't know. Nobody would ask anybody.
There's anyone can someone describe it? Sure.
Yeah, it was white on the bottom. It was like remind me of like when you have crutches, you have that tip on the end, on the bottom of the crutch.
It's the regular mushroom,
yellow,
like the marshmallow
mushroom,
tips.
yeah.
Okay.
And it's white.
The marshmallow tip. What's the
Yeah.
marshmallow tip? Yeah.
Just what is the name of the cane so people know?
WeWalk.
WeWalk. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it looks like an Ambutech.
It almost looks like the Ambutech cane. Yes. It's
okay.
Yeah. It's very similar. The only thing is different is the top, which has that device inside with the ultrasonic, the device,
sensors and stuff,
the sensor and everything. Yeah, and so that handle part is the heavy part. The other cane is pretty much the same like any other cane. The handle part that has the device, that's a little heavier. And for me, actually, it was pretty hard. So I was walking for like 45 minutes and my wrist got really tired because of the tap use that I use. And it got really tired. But as I said, this cane is too long for me. And that makes it hard too. So once I get a shorter cane, I'm sure that will help on handling it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Judy, I see your hands raised.
Alt-A, Judy?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I don't know why I have trouble with that. I just had a couple questions. I guess I wanted to be more clear in regards to can you actually adapt your Ambutech cane? Like if you can you just put that adaptation onto it, or it comes all together? You just, it's the cane plus this device that's screwed in on top.
Yes, as I said, you can purchase the cane with the adapter, come from them together, and then you just put the handle on the top if you have already the handle part. And then you can also use any other cane if you pull the top part where the handle is and kind of cut the elastic inside and don't let it go in, hold on to it, and then push that through the adapter that you can purchase separately, or you have it from the old one if it's broken, the bottom part. Then put that elastic through the adapter, tie a knot so it wouldn't go back. And then once you have the adapter on the top and you tie the knot on the very top of the adapter, then you just screw the handle into it.
And does that affect the price, I wonder, if you're just buying that, the top part?
I have no idea if you can buy only the separate handle. Wow, that's an interesting question. I never asked. I never even thought of it, but I guess that's the most expensive part of it anyway. And I think when you purchase it, actually, you can get 2 canes with it when you purchase it.
Then the other thing I want to know was, is this, when using a cane without this device, comparing it to using it with this device, is the sound of the cane affected by it, out of curiosity? Does it sound the same?
Mine, I guess it's a little looser, and I hear a little extra noise when I'm tapping it, but I guess that's only my cane because it's a little loose. So if I change it with a different bottom, then I shouldn't have that. Otherwise, unless if that comes from the plastic handle. But I hear like a different sound than when I'm using my regular cane. And yes.
The other point I wanted to make out was, somebody was asking about the cane and what happens at head level, if there's an obstacle. And, often I would go in routes that I am familiar with, but sometimes things do pop up in those routes that you may not be aware of. And there was an incident one time in my area. I was traveling and there was an electrical transformer box for the traffic light, and my cane went under it and my head hit into it. I'm like, oh wow, that's new. Then I went to travel a little bit further and I hit the second one. There was a second one and then actually a third one. But thank God somebody stopped me before I got to the third transformer box. Those were, all at head level. The cane went under and I smacked my head twice hard. Thank God didn't require stitches. And another time I was on a mall and there was a boat show. Again, my cane went under it, but my head hit the bow of the boat. I wasn't expecting it, and that's what happened. But those things are, they do happen, but they don't, they're kind of far and few between, thank God. But
to me too.
There is a safety technique where you can, put your arm up like at a 45-degree angle in front, like where your hand is, where your fingers are kind of curled at your forehead and kind of just blocking.
Yeah, but you can't always walk with the arm up and walk like that. It's impossible. So yeah, this cane definitely can detect those objects that are in front of you, hanging branches or signs or what you just talked about. It would definitely pick it up. Yes.
Yeah, which would be a good thing. Because I think, we were talking about, I had brought up about the guide dog and white cane, and then there was a discussion about it. But it's really a celebration of independence and safety and awareness to the community in case you do need assistance or that people yield so that they can let you do what you need to do. So all the devices we've mentioned really do help people to be safe and to be independent. So, and I just want to thank everybody for letting me talk. It probably wasn't the smoothest of talking, but
Yes.
I liked sharing and I liked hearing everybody's comments and discussion.
Something else that I wanted to mention, that with this cane, there are like hotels where it's very noisy, where the elevators are, and you can't really tell which door opened. But if you stand in front of the door and the door opens, when you're standing in front of it, you hear the buzzing because it's in front of you. Now, when the door opens, then you won't hear the buzzing. So that's how you would know that the door opened. You can detect open or closed doors that way too. So there are certain things which really it helps, I think, for those of us who use specifically the white cane only. One thing which I'm not too happy about, but I guess they couldn't do anything about it, is that if it's heavy rain, then they don't suggest you to use it because of the device inside, and they don't want that to be damaged. If it's just drizzle, it's fine. But if it's heavy rain, they suggest they give like a holder that you can actually put on the top of it, and then you're safe to keep walking, just using it just like a regular cane. But you would need to cover that, and that's just a nice soft holder which you can just put over that until the rain stops. And once the rain stops, then you can continue with the voice feature. One they didn't show you, I can also ask questions. It's not 100%, it cannot do as much as it can do by tapping, but you can also give directions to the cane by using the microphone on the cane and just tell the cane what you want to do.
I see we have hands raised. Mary, go ahead.
I just got done listening to a podcast where they were talking about the new headset that Facebook made up. And their whole goal is to have you be able to sit in your living room and have people come to you. And I'm sitting here listening to us trying to have technology so we can leave the house. I look at it this way. If everybody, the sighted people, are going to now stay in their home, we can now travel out and be able to go anywhere we want because they won't be in our road.
That's a good one, Mary.
That's all I got.
Rashida, I saw your hand raised in the list. Was that before, from before, or do you have another question?
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's I probably didn't lower it.
Anybody else have any other questions or experiences they'd like to share?
I just have a quick question. What was the name of that podcast, Mary? I'm curious.
Mary, what was the name of that podcast?
Maybe she just stepped away for the moment.
She's muted.
Oh, yep, she is.
Alt-A to unmute.
What was the question?
The name of the
podcast. Yeah, no,
What
that
do you
was okay. We just was wondering what was the name of the podcast that you just mentioned that you were talking
that
about.
was, I'm sorry, forgive me. That was Double Tap.
Oh,
We
so
don't
Double
forgive
Tap?
you, Mary.
Yeah,
We're all waiting, bated breath.
You're unforgiven.
I'm so sorry.
Really?
This Saturday's Double Tap. They were
Okay.
all talking about how, the guy on there was discussing, how it works and the whole 9 yards on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Sorry.
Anybody else have any other questions or comments or?
I just want to make a comment, and that is that this was really an interesting workshop. I really learned a lot of different things, and I really appreciate everybody.
And there's always so much to learn.
There's always a lot to learn, and I just want to thank everybody who spoke today. I know we had some technical difficulties, but those things do happen. And Katerina, didn't you say that thing is $599 full retail price?
Yes, yes, it is expensive.
I
Yes.
I could buy a lot of regular canes for that much.
That's for sure. And believe me, with what it was and when I started, I would not purchase it. And I'm still waiting to see if it will get better. If I would want to purchase it, but I would rather have the New York State Commission for the Blind purchase it for those who want to have it. I mean, just think about it, those, and I understand the difficulty is a lot more, it's a lot bigger for those who are deaf and blind, but if they get extra help and other people who have different disabilities, they get wheelchairs and everything. This is our wheelchair. Why can't we get something like this, which would definitely help with our safety and independence? So this should be something that maybe we could advocate on, and the whole country, why we can't do that? Because it really would help a lot. Just simply the obstacle detection is a big thing, because many times you just walk and the branch is right in your face, and by the time you notice, it's too late. So these things, it would be so much more helpful, and anything it picks up above your waist.
That's my favorite occurrence, is a branch hitting me.
Yeah, I've been hit in the face with so many of those. It's not good.
Yes, yes.
So much fun.
I know, especially when you have a nice scratch on your eyebrow and everybody's like, what did you do?
Blame the tree.
I ran into a tree. It was slow.
This would be a great project for our accessibility working group to start, maybe get into a bill or something. Maybe.
Actually, guys, $500 is not bad, considering how much a phone costs. I'm just saying, if you want to take and advocate for that, you could say, well, a phone costs this amount of money, huge amount of money. They've got other GPS devices for blind people that cost more than, way more than that. Look at the, I'm trying to think of the one they had that was like $1,300.
The Trekker Breeze, maybe?
Yeah, those things. That thing is actually a bargain compared to everything else they have out there.
I also now without the iPhone or the Android phone, without the app, you can use only the obstacle detection. And to get the other app through the cane, for those you would need to have the app downloaded onto an iPhone or Android device. So that would be an extra expense, I guess, to some people who don't have those devices yet.
I just want to plug Silo, because Silo has one on loan. Their trade program, they've purchased it. So if anybody does want to try it out, give Silo a call, ask for Maureen Erickson.
I want that cane.
What if we, what if you went to the company and if we had a lot of people wanting it, and we could do like a mass order and get it maybe for a cheaper price or something, pitch it to them.
That's an idea.
And also pitch it to the different telephone people like Apple and Samsung, and say, hey, maybe you could do some kind of deal with them, and like a 2-for-1 thing or something. I don't know.
Good
Just some ideas.
It's an idea.
Yeah,
it's an idea.
Good idea. Yeah.
Why wait for our legislators? Let us, ourselves pitch like a get together work plan and see how many people, first find out how many people would be interested if we could get it maybe for, I don't know, 400 or 300 or something, and then see if we could get them to do something with us. I don't know.
That's a good idea. I noticed 2 years ago, I think like maybe 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I saw on Dr. Phil's show somebody who was actually showing the cane there, the WeWalk cane, and Dr. Phil worked together with the WeWalk company, and they had like a discount for a certain time for those who wanted to get the WeWalk cane. And I think CV, which one? There was another channel, TV channel, that also advertised the cane briefly, and they also gave like a discount for a short time if you went on their website.
I wonder what their
all
sales.
all the groups together, like in the independent living centers, NFB, ACB, all of us get together, get a group, a number of people, figure out how many people would actually purchase it at different price points, and then let's put out a proposal, I guess, to a WeWalk or something, or to WeWalk and a couple of phone manufacturers. Because like I have a phone, an Android that's like I got for less than $200, and it's a smartphone. I don't know if it would work with that, but that might be options available then for people to make it more available.
CBG video, my other channel that I wanted to so
I think the version for the Android, I think it has to be above 5, and for the iPhone, I think it has to be above 10. The version to work with it. As long as it's an Android phone, you should be able to download the app, the WeWalk app.
I see Rashida's hand is up. She's muted if she.
No, I didn't. I don't know why my hand keeps going up. I wasn't even near my phone.
Well, then let me just do that.
Yes.
All right.
I believe for the app, you have to pay for it if you want to download it, but if you have the cane, it's free.
Without the cane, it's kind of useless, isn't it?
Well, it does serve a different purpose if you don't have the cane. It gives you turn-by-turn directions, although I can't get the app to work for some reason.
Oh.
It
I don't
sounds
know.
like Ira with the cane.
Yeah, there you go.
I got Mary and Judy's hands are up. Mary first.
Oh, I was going to say something, I forgot what it was. Don't mind
Having
me.
a brain fart there, Mary.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's nice.
Now go ahead. Go somebody else.
Go ahead, Judy.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I was unmuted before when I had
You're good.
mentioned.
Good.
Okay, good. But I wasn't sure if anyone had heard me say that Silo has the WeWalk.
Yes, that's why I said I want that cane.
Yeah, okay.
He wants it, so.
The other thing I wanted to ask was, I guess you could use the app with just your cane, but you wouldn't have the, the ultrasound vibrating in the cane itself. You could just use it by your, your echolocation, which we normally do with the tapping, and just listening to how many feet it is to the corner and making the left or right or whatever location we're going to, which would be interesting to try that. How much does it, does anybody know how much it is for that WeWalk, just to download the WeWalk software or the app?
I can look it up because Katerina is
used to know too. I forget what it is.
Hold on, let me see.
Look it up, Chris. Yeah, could you? Yasmin, go ahead.
I had a question. So, what if you are in a area where, like, the Wi-Fi is kind of weird? Like, if you're like in a hospital or something, if you have to go like down in the basement or something, and then like signal cuts out, is that like a problem with it, or you haven't experienced anything like that?
I would imagine it might be a problem, but I have never used it to know. I think, isn't there a way to create a hotspot too on your phone? I don't know how to do that, but would that help internet connection? I don't know.
The app is $9.99 a month for WeWalk, or it's $84 a year.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad.
Not at all.
14.
That's actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Thank you for looking that up.
Did she leave?
Yes, Ekaterina's not
Yes,
here.
she did.
Oh,
boy.
okay.
Thank you, Marisol.
Oh, well.
I say something?
Sure.
And then I'm gonna be leaving. I did try that cane. You know, Ekaterina kept it way longer than I did, and there were just too many glitches. If it was something that good, I'm sure many people would have been purchasing it over these last few years. There's a lot of flaws in it still, and the person that I guess invented it, him and his girlfriend, they live in Europe. I forget if they're what country they were in. And I saw the video and it was a great thing, you know, but I even thought, hey, if this cane is that good, we won't need guide dogs anymore. But unfortunately, it's not that good. It's got a lot of good qualities, but it still needs to be perfected. And until it is, you know, I mean, I wouldn't use that.
I'd like to try it just to see what it, what I
Well,
think of
what
it.
you should do, since you're going into Silo,
like to demo it.
Contact Maureen, call up tomorrow, Monday, and just make sure she's there and ask her if you could try the cane.
Yeah. It would be good. Anybody have any other questions before we end?
Technology takes time to develop. Even now with the iPhone, how many glitches do you still have with the iPhone?
Yes, true.
You know, it has to, just recently did Siri finally her dictation actually finally work. So it's nice. I mean, it takes it takes a lot of hard work to get the programming correct for this stuff.
Yes, finally Marilyn says her Siri works better now.
Yes, it does. That making up words that I never said.
I mean, there's still glitches with it, and it's. I'm sure as the time.
Oh, you mean like the one before when I said when I told you we'll see, and it decided to come up with what is CP?
Oh God. I think I don't know how long this cane's been around for, but I think over time it'll probably get better. And that's like with everything else that I've seen, especially with technology. It takes a long, long time to sometimes get things perfected, and it could take years for this to get perfected.
Yeah, I think it would be nice if we found out, are there any other cane users out there that are using it, and how they feel about it. That would be a good thing, which I did mention to Ekaterina, like call the lighthouse, find out who in New York has it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
and how
not
it's
too
working.
many because of the expense. And if it was this $30 to purchase one, more people probably would have it as well. And I think too, guide dogs, I mean, they have come a long way as well. I'm sure when they first started using guides, a lot of input and feedback, had probably helped to make them what they are today. Not that anybody wouldn't want to have a dog, but I think it has to do with preference and lifestyle, and and having more tools in your toolbox is always a good thing. So
And I think if nobody has any other questions who hasn't spoken yet, we will probably end.
I want to thank everybody once again for coming. It has definitely been a pleasure to hear everybody's experiences, and it would be. I'm gonna have to see if they have anything, if anybody uses this cane in Minnesota, because I'd be very curious to find out if they do.
Yeah, interesting to find out.
It would be.
And I suppose, as I said, I would try it, and I'll keep everybody up to date on if I like it or not.
Also, my question was, and I can't remember if I asked this a couple of years ago when I had the cane, I forgot. How does it work in extreme cold, below zero? How does it work in extreme heat, 100 degrees?
Well, we're going to have to find out, aren't we?
We will.
So I guess that's the agenda for next year.
That is the agenda for next year. I gotta when I come in on the 24th, I gotta get the cane.
Yeah, I'd like to try it.
I'll try it. I want to see, from my perspective as a person who still uses a cane, I want to see what I think of the differences between a regular old out-of-date cane and a smart cane.
Mm-hmm.
This is Rashida. Marilyn made a good point. My phone's across the room. And we live in New York. And how good is this cane? Has anybody tried this cane in the snow? Because everyone knows who is a cane user that using your cane in the snow is almost next to impossible, especially when they're piling when sanitation kind of pushes these big snow banks to the edge of the curbs. Like, how does that cane fare in the snow and in the rain? I mean, it is an electronic device. If we're like caught in, what do you call those torrential downpours that's like superstorms?
Yes.
How would that work? And you're right, Marilyn, in the heat, your iPhone stops working. I've left my phone on a pool deck in Florida and then or at the beach this summer and it just shut down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I've had mine shut down. My iPad here shut down just sitting, outside, not even like 100 degrees, but the sun hitting it.
Yeah.
But you got to remember it's a battery in there, so it's really,
Yeah. So I said, you had to shut it off. I had to, even if bringing it in, you had to shut it off and turn it back on for it to stop telling me, it's hot, it's hot. Yeah, I know.
I will put mine in a cooling bag.
Even
like to know how it works at the airport.
Even guide dogs, when it's extreme heat, they get hot or heated and they can't walk on those metal doors. They have.
That's why I had to dog sit at the ADA.
Yep. That's why you were my dog sitter and I grabbed somebody's cane.
That's right.
I like to know how it works at the airport. Like when when you have to, when it's like mid-flight, like if you have to get up to use the bathroom.
What about going through security with that?
Yeah, when they do the pat down.
It's going to tell you, TSA agent about to harass you at 12 o'clock.
Well, is anybody watching the Netflix In the Dark and what she uses the cane to do? I don't know how far anybody's gotten with the series, but she smuggles, drugs in the cane.
Really?
Okay. Oh, they back with it now? Okay.
Oh, I didn't know they were back.
Might have to start watching that.
Yeah, me too.
Let me tell you.
Definitely adult viewing, watching. It's described too, and which
nice.
Well, we're all adults here. At least we think so.
Hopefully.
I was watching a movie last night called it's on Hulu right now. It's called See For Me.
Oh, who is that?
Okay, so look, let me tell you. First, I wanted to know, was the main character, was she a sighted actor who was playing blind, or was she really blind? So I looked her up at the end of the movie. So she really is blind. So and she was like it was a really good like thriller. So she was a young teenager or whatever who went blind. She had RP and she was a skier, and but then she couldn't do it anymore. But she went to like this cabin out in the woods and some people broke into the house. So she used like this app called See For Me. Her mom told her to download See For Me. I was like, oh my God, that's like Be My Eyes. I was like yelling at the phone. And they had the actual, volunteer like telling her how to hide from the killers. I was just like, okay.
Is it descriptive audio? Because that's what
I don't know. Is it on?
Watch it.
I don't think. I tried to find it, but I don't know. Like I looked in the settings, and all it told me was like subtitles. Like
it may not be described.
It may not be.
Hulu's got a big problem with that.
They do.
Wait, it's weird. The weirdest thing with Hulu is some people say they get the descriptive audio, some people don't. And I know when I watch it on my iPad and my iPhone and my descriptive audio settings are on set to both, I will have descriptive audio. So something like Abbott Elementary, that has descriptive audio on my iPad and my iPhone. But when I watch the same show, because I tested it on my smart TV, and I have the descriptive audio settings already programmed in, it doesn't show on Hulu, but other people say it does. So I don't know what, I don't know.
It just depends on what setting is available for it, I think.
It does.
Well, some
for
of it
the actual movie or for the app?
For the TV versus the app.
Oh.
Did you call them up?
No.
I
Just,
would call them
No, I
up
did
and
not.
say,
I'm
hey,
not even
I'm
gonna
paying
lie to you,
for this.
Kathy. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't call.
I called and say, hey, I'm paying for this. Where's what are your description? Have you heard of this thing called the ADA?
Well, we're getting very off topic here. I want to thank everyone for coming.
Yeah.
It
thank
has
you.
been wonderful to have
Thank
this. We'll have
you.
this next year. This will be actually the same link. I'm actually going to keep this link for next year. So if you registered for this one, you'll stay registered for it. So
Nice.
we
Okay.
welcome you to join us next year, same time, same bat channel, and hopefully I will have the cane by then.
Me too.
This
I
was
want to try to
great.
get the cane too.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, have a great
One thing I
night.
would like
And I
to
want
Take
mention
care.
about the
Everybody.
cane, it also uses
Bye.
has Bluetooth in it, so you can easily use it with an earphone.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
Have a
okay.
good
Take care, everybody.
All right, good night, everybody.
Have a good day, all.